What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that all of you are having a wonderful day. Today, we are going to recap the Love and Marriage Detroit fourth episode titled Skating on Thin Ice. And the episode opens with Russell talking to Kobe's assistant because he wants to plan a surprise birthday party for her 30th birthday, which is very sweet. So she goes upstairs, and Kobe's like, I know you don't have your shoes on in my house. Oh man. I know her assistant is like, look, I'm over here, working with your husband holding a secret. And she holds it. She holds the secret. She says that she has to go run some errands and do some things, which is very sweet. So the episode then cuts to Kristina and Brandon. If you guys remember, this whole series of Detroit opened up with Kristina and Brandon just having constant conflict, just constant. They are the most contentious couple out of the three, in my opinion. So they're seeking pastoral counseling mentorship from another couple who's a bit older than they are, which I think is smart. It's wise. And Kristina, she's like, I hope, Brandon shows up. So clearly he hadn't been back to the apartment since, the last week or since the last episode aired. And I believe it was over the weekend. He says, they ask both of them, first of all, since we last spoke, have things gotten better or worse? And so they said that things have gotten worse. And Brandon says that he hadn't slept there for a while. And so the mentors are like, well, what's a while? And he says, since the weekend, I haven't been here the whole weekend. And so they're asking him to expound on that, why he hasn't been home for the whole weekend. So he starts going into how he was such a great producer and how things were popping before he got married. So he does blame his wife for whichever, areas of his career he feels stagnant in. He's very resentful, similar to Anthony in his relationship with, Dr. LaToya, not really wanting him to continuously go down to Atlanta and leave her with the responsibility of, raising the kids and work and being the breadwinner all by herself, which is a lot for anybody, right? So Brandon seems really resentful toward, Kristina, because she wants him to be home more. She wants him to not be, out in the clubs late. And so whatever shortcomings that he has in his career, instead of looking inward or working harder, he's blaming it on his wife. They ask Kristina how she feels, and she starts crying. She says that she feels really belittled. She felt really unprotected and really unsafe. And she's absolutely right. I feel like her husband does not respect her at all. He has no regard for her feelings, because if he did, he wouldn't be bashing her to his previous artist, and he wouldn't talk to her or treat her the way that he does. And so the mentors, they offer advice. They said, you guys can't go tit for tat. You have to learn how to listen to each other so there won't be built up resentments. And I feel like Brandon doesn't want to be married. And I feel like when last week, he asked her a question when they were on the street. He said, do you even want to be married to me? I feel like looking back on it now and seeing how he talks to her and listening to this, older couple giving them mentorship, I feel like that was projection. Because he constantly wants to be out. He doesn't ever want to be at home. He's always in the clubs. He's always, working late at the studio. He's always blaming Kristina for his failures. I don't feel like he wants to be married at all. But that's just my opinion. So then they go to Dr. LaToya and Brandon. And Dr. LaToya, her father is a bishop of a church. And they said that, which is great. I love Detroit so much. And I love the churches in Detroit. both her and Anthony said going to church every single week is a non-negotiable. So, her, Anthony, and the kids, they go to church. So Anthony asked to speak to the bishop, LaToya's father, after service. So he said, yeah, let me shake a few hands and I'll meet you outside. So when they get out there, Anthony says that he feels really bad that when he did, leave for Atlanta, that he felt like the family was attacking him. And the bishop says, well, that was never our intention. However, Anthony, I mean, as much as they are, your in-laws, that's what they are, right? They're your in-laws. LaToya is their blood. So they're always going to side with their daughter. Not to mention, they had a point, right? Like their daughter is not only the breadwinner, but she's not only a mother and a wife, she's also a doctor. So you left during one of probably the hardest, times in her career where she needed you the most to be supportive. Now I'm thinking, yes, working with Marvel is a huge opportunity. However, um, global pandemics aren't common, at least let's pray they're not, right? But the last one that we had was a century ago, the Spanish flu, essentially in 1918. So they weren't going to be, a common reoccurrence. It's not like all her patients had a cold, right? Or the flu. No, COVID is serious, whether people were taking it seriously or not. But at the height of the pandemic was not the time to, and I'm thinking like, how did he even, he drove. Because I was like, I didn't think that they was letting people on flights like that. Okay, so he drove from Michigan to Atlanta. That's a straight 75 drive. That's just one highway. So yeah, okay. But yeah, her dad was like, look, if we ever, made you feel badly, that wasn't our intention, comma. However, you need to be here to support our daughter, essentially, because she is a wife. She loves you. She's our daughter, but they're going to protect her, Anthony. I mean, that's what good parents, that's what good parents do, right? That's what fathers do. They protect their daughters. I wonder if anybody asked him, because he has daughters, Anthony, would you want your daughters to grow up, to a man who would essentially abandon them at one of the hardest, most stressful times of their lives and their career, or walk out on them and leave them to raise your children alone? I'm almost certain the answer would be no. But I'm not. I mean, does Anthony want to be married? He was crying on the boat last week. He was complaining to her father this week. And he wants to have a million man, not a million man, but like a man movement march, I think, with Marceau Scott of all people as one of the speakers. Carlos King, you will pay for your crimes. You're not going to keep getting away with this. Allegedly, right? Okay, so then the last scene is everybody meets up at the skating rink. So everybody's there. All the girls are matching. I thought that was, really cute or interesting. They said it was unplanned, which is even more of a coincidence considering that they were kind of butting heads the whole time. So Kristina said that she was confused about the Paul Harper Ray collaboration. So they're both influencers, Kristina and Colby sitting in the front, and there's Dr. LaToya in the middle. But they bump heads because one, Kristina's husband is still mad at Kobe for spilling the beans about him. And he's feeding her, he's in her ear about Kobe, I guess taking away from Kristina's money, her bag as an influencer, because they both do the same thing. So instead of working together, Brandon is trying to pit these girls against each other because he's mad at Kobe, essentially. And he says that. At least he's honest, which I don't know. But yeah, they get into it. And then Brandon starts, antagonizing Colby, calling her Kobe cat. He's saying that he's sticking up for his wife, but really he's just trying to get some get back because he holds a grudge. He holds a grudge against his wife and against Kobe. He's not very kind to women. Carlos, where are you finding all these chauvinists? My goodness. But anyway, so he calls her Kobe cat, which is corny. But Russell steps in, Kobe's husband. He's like, you don't have to address my wife like that. So that's where the episode ends. They leave. But man, Detroit is something else. Out of all three, this one is, I don't know. Huntsville, though, that last clip, if you guys saw Huntsville at the very end, where Tisha and Kiki get into it, because Kiki is pretty much carrying this whole season. They put her wanted poster up. Oh, messy. But yeah, let's see how Detroit plays out. Y'all know I'm going to continuously bring you the recaps and the reviews. Drop down in the comments. I want to hear from you. Please be sure to like the video. It brightens it up around here. Lets YouTube know that I'm over here working hard for y'all. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will talk with you later. Take care, aces. Bye.